from WBNE.
Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we just want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our merch store. Look at that. We got new Bacon and Eggs t-shirts in all sorts of new colors, all sorts of new styles. You can also get like stickers. That's what a sticker does. You slap it on something. You can get notebooks. I've got this WBNE notebook right here.
How handy dandy are they?
Love. Oh my God, the most handy dandy. We've got a deal with Nickelodeon where Steve, I don't remember the new guy's name, is going to be using them moving forward. We've got all sorts of really cool new merch stuff, and you can check it out. There's a link in the description. There's all sorts of really cool stuff, and it's on TeePublic. So I think their prices are a little too fair, a little too good, a little too competitive. But I don't get to control them. So be sure to buy all the stuff. But yeah, that's what this episode is brought to you by. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for wearing our merch. It's a great way to tell your friends because they'll be like, why is there a movie reel and the word bacon and eggs? And you'll be like, actually, look, it's eggs around the reel and then bacon coming off of it. Uh-huh. Huh? Pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll get on with the episode. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're meeting men for the first time.
Or maybe we're just ending the war.
So claim the God Killer.
And become a god.
Because today we're bringing you
Wonder Woman. Man, the theme music is especially fitting now that we're back into superhero music or movies.
I know. Oh, I love our theme music. We are joined this week by none other than we got a guest by none other than the host of Unsobered, a podcast about badass women in history and literature, Julia Kendall herself, former Bacon and Eggs guest, the Titanic if you will. Welcome back to Bacon and Eggs, Julia.
That was my high school nickname, by the way, the Titanic.
Is that because you stand me?
Yeah.
Mine was Gimpy Fish, actually.
I don't want to share mine because I'm really scared it's going to come back. And I'm very scared to do that.
Why in God's name did they call you Gimpy Fish?
So, my freshman year, I messed up my knee really bad. And there was already somebody named Gimpy, like nicknamed Gimpy for the same reason. So because I was a freshman, I was Gimpy Fish, and that followed me all 4 years. Marching
Not
band.
like Gimpy Prime or Gimpy 2.
Nope. Gimpy Fish.
Gimpy Fish. I feel like that's a great thing that we should do for like mathematics. Is like after A, B, and C, we go to A fish, B fish, C fish.
1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
We could name hurricanes like that.
We should stop. My gosh. Random fact about hurricanes.
Yeah, let's go.
Hurricanes with female names are more destructive because people don't take them as seriously.
Huh. Mm-hmm. That's a sad fact. That's a sad fact about society. Wonder Woman was directed by Patty Jenkins, came out June 2nd, 2017, which is 1,374 days ago, had a $135 million budget. That's conjecture. It's between 120 and 150. I figured I'd split the difference like I'm baking a pizza. It made $822.3 million worldwide, got a 93% critic rating and an 83% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 76 on Metacritic. Ethan, do you have a professional negative review?
Yeah, I've got a review here from Ryan Syrek of The Reader, Oklahoma. Nebraska's acronym being NE has never not thrown me off ever.
Oklahoma, New England.
Omaha, New England. Omaha, Nebraska. And Ryan Syrek says, in her own movie, Wonder Woman has less lines of dialogue than her supporting love interest, expresses no personality, and doesn't really even save the day. D+.
I didn't know that about the dialogue. I don't know if that's like a true fact or just something you felt when I was watching the movie. But if that is true, I'm not surprised. Chris Pine's character is like really fast talking and quippy, so it wouldn't surprise me too much. But if that's true, it didn't hinder my watching experience.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that is a, like, valid. I mean, it's whether it's true or not, I don't know if it's a valid criticism. It's not necessarily all about who has the most lines in a movie, unless it's Martin Scorsese, which this isn't.
It's Patty Jenkins. Julie, do you have comments on that review?
I disagree.
I think she's got a lot of personality. I really like her character.
I think like she just doesn't have like what we would. She doesn't have a personality that is conducive to men.
Yes, because she comes from a society of women.
Yeah.
Which I think was really well done. I have a review from Kendra James from Bitch Media. I'm only reading this because I get to say that, because it's the name of the publication. And Kendra says, it is easily the best film in the DC extended universe thus far, but what does that mean when your yardstick is Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Suicide Squad? But she wrote that February 17th, 2021, so surely she knows that the Snyder Cut is coming, and it's going to be garbage.
That wasn't a particularly positive review.
It wasn't.
No.
Can you get us a real positive? That was like a lukewarm review at best. Can you get us a real positive review?
So I think a lot of these are pretty lukewarm. Let me read Jordan Hoffman from the Times of Israel. I don't know an Israeli accent, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I would avoid that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Jordan says, amid stunning visuals, well-crafted action sequences, and a decent plot, Gal Gadot's nuanced performance speaks volumes. And that I actually do agree with, because I think where this movie succeeds and fails is in the writing and the quality of acting performance between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, who I think nail it, knock it out of the park, and almost everyone else who is like a Scooby-Doo side character.
I don't know. I really liked, oh my gosh, now I can't remember her name. The secretary.
I love the secretary. I feel bad because I can't remember her name either.
Is it Pat? I should know this.
Etta, Lucy Davis.
Just going to say, I've got a listener review here from Vinny. Says, 100 out of 100. Unmatched feeling finally getting to see the character you spent your childhood dressed up as on the big screen. And that is so true for so many people.
And I think Wonder Woman is an interesting one, because when we talk about this in 2021 and we talk about the kids of today, like particularly young kids, I think everything shifted in 2008 with our understanding of like who popular superheroes were. Probably up to like 2015. I think Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman were the names. Those were the household names when I was a kid. Spider-Man maybe got thrown in, but not Iron Man. Not
I wouldn't
Captain
say that
America.
Spider-Man was thrown in. I would say that Spider-Man was right up there.
Yeah, I would say Spider-Man was right up there.
I had a different childhood than you, but okay.
Who was popular when you were a kid?
Well, so I was a comic book person.
Oh, well, that's not the same then.
And so it's not the same.
I thought you were going to say
That's
like
why
Bible Man or whatever. The PBS superhero wears the purple suit.
I mean, there was
VeggieTales.
Captain Planet. Did
Captain
you
Planet
get
was
Planet?
big.
Captain Planet?
We did.
Captain Planet would have knocked Thanos out in seconds. I mean, Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Heart. Boom. Out. That's never once been the debate, because Captain Planet is who's the most powerful Avenger? Captain Planet. Because he's 5 superheroes turned into Voltron. Like,
It's like with the Power Rangers when they...
Correct.
Yes.
The Power Rangers probably also would have killed Thanos.
No, I think the Power Rangers would get wrecked by Thanos, to be
I
honest.
also think that
Nah.
Power Rangers didn't have any sort of
They'd be all right.
power.
They had
Really?
mechs. They had like... I mean, there's so many iterations of Power Rangers, though. But Julia, you had a different childhood. Who would have been like your iconic comic book characters? We're talking to somebody from New England now. Comic book
From
characters.
New England.
Who lives in New England?
I live
She's
in
in
New
New
England.
England right now.
I can't
Comic book
speak like that.
characters.
So I grew up with Captain America, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, which, if you didn't know, Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers was Captain Marvel.
Yes,
So I grew up
I
with
did know that.
Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Wonder Woman, Superman. I never liked Batman. Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah, Spider-Man's so big.
The Peter Parker version of Spider-Man, not any of the other ones.
I still, to
But,
this
like,
day, have never liked Superman.
I also never liked Superman, but that was... So when I was growing up, one of the really only superhero TV shows at the time was Lois and Clark.
That's a good name for a superhero show.
Lois and Clark?
That's, yeah. Lois and Clark.
I have not seen that, no.
I don't think it did very well, but I enjoyed it. It was like the precursor to like the CW, or really more like Supergirl pre-CW, because it wasn't obviously marketed towards teenagers.
We had Teen Titans was big, so that like by proximity boosted Batman's popularity. And then in 2008, when I was 15, The Dark Knight came out, and like just show The Dark Knight to a 15-year-old boy in 2008. You know what I mean? Like that's the coolest thing ever, man. He's got a tank. Batman's got a tank.
Now, I don't know if I watched it in reruns or if it was something that was on when I was a kid, but I remember specifically watching, there was a Justice League cartoon that I watched constantly, which is my introduction to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's got Marvin Martian and Hawk Girl and Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Arrow.
And Aquaman.
I didn't really watch that one.
I was bothered that they never took the costumes off. That
Superheroes never took the costumes off back then.
I know, it drove me crazy. Oh, I didn't like that. But I want to get into Wonder Woman.
Yeah, 0 out of 100, Julia.
I'm going to go with an 82.
Huh. Lower than I expected. Ethan's, I think, is the for whom the bell tolls here. I'm going to go higher than Julia, actually. I really enjoyed this. 86. I know this is going to be bad.
59.
Oh.
I do not like this movie very much. And I do want to make it clear that, like, it is not Wonder Woman's fault that this movie doesn't hit. Like, it is not Gal Gadot's acting. It is not the portrayal of the character. It's not even the writing of the character. It's the writing of everybody else that doesn't do it for me. I truly do not like Chris Pine in almost anything, and this is no exception.
Oh, I thought he was fantastic in this. I really, really liked his character.
I really didn't care about him, which is fine. Because the things that I noticed that made a difference to me personally are probably things that you wouldn't consciously notice.
What do you mean?
So, for example, the so there's this thing called the male gaze. And a lot of superhero movies, especially with women, have that, where they focus on certain areas of the woman's body.
Uh-huh.
This did not have that. And I greatly, there was not an abundance of cleavage. There was not, things were covered and made sense. Like, her outfit wasn't skimpy for the sake of being skimpy. It made sense, and it covered what needed to be covered.
Yeah. I did notice the only thing that I thought that they were a little gratuitous on, and I mean the outfit sort of lends itself to this, was the legs. Like, even when she's stepping out into the trenches, there's like a 4-second shot of like the back of her leg with her calf all flexed, and
and that made me very that is a part of the body that I really liked.
Yeah, I
thought it was gorgeous.
There's no denying Gal Gadot's beauty.
She's
ever.
so pretty.
Right, yeah,
we're not going to sit here and pretend that nobody noticed that she's beautiful.
And they point it out in the movie at some point.
Right.
Oh, all the time. They make that comment multiple times. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong, she's not very tall, right?
So I remember when she was first announced to play the character, there was some criticism that Amazons were particularly tall and she was particularly not, but the difference in height.
5'10".
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she was
She's my height.
5'2".
No, she's 5'10".
She's like 5. Yeah,
because I was gonna remark that they did an incredible job of making her appear this larger than life presence.
No, she's my height.
Because I thought I'd read somewhere that she was 5 foot nothing, and I was like, that's incredible. That is incredible.
She's a tiny torso apparently, and legs for days.
That's actually so the way women's anatomy is, that is how our anatomy is. We have more legs than torso most of the time.
Right. So Ethan, I see your criticism here. Like, we've got Wonder Woman, and I'm surprised you didn't like Chris Pine's character, because I thought he was really well done. I thought there was 3 characters that were well done in the whole thing. I thought it was Wonder Woman, Chris Pine, and Samir. I take that back. I liked all of the Amazons. I liked that whole sequence.
I could not get into that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like my favorite. That first 40 minutes was like...
I mean, and again, like, it's
loved.
not for me at all. Like, I don't know. I just, like, I could not get into those characters. I was waiting for the movie to start, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Was this your first time viewing it, Ethan?
No, this is my second time seeing it.
Okay.
I will say that it is not, like, soured at all between the first 2 times. Like, I think it does. If anything, I probably liked it more this time.
I think it's just also, it's a really important movie because we get our first woman director of a superhero movie, which the fact that it took till 2017 is annoying. But also you have your first really successful female superhero-led movie.
I mean, this is just shy of $1 billion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, this was successful. It had pretty good reviews. It revived...
This is bonkers good reviews. 93%.
It had... I'm sorry, my mind blanked. It had...
You good?
Like... it did well, and without that, we don't get Captain Marvel. We don't get WandaVision. We don't get anything that comes in the future, I don't think, personally. Because before this, there hadn't been a successful woman-led superhero movie.
Right. And I think a lot of the criticism when Captain Marvel first came out was, how does it stack up against Wonder Woman?
I have been getting into fights on TikTok about this. Like,
and I don't think that's how we should be discussing it. I think it should just be, how does it stack up against superhero cinema? But
even then, people are... Anyway. But also, like, comparatively... Unfortunately, you have to compare it to the other DCEU movies.
Oh, it is so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wasn't expecting it to be good. Not because I didn't want it to be good, but because, like, the other DC movies were bad.
Right,
like,
not good.
Yeah, like, I apparently just forgot Man of Steel existed when Batman v Superman came out. Because I was like, oh, that's a weird way to introduce Superman. I remembered that Man of Steel had come. And I had watched Man of Steel. Like, it wasn't like I didn't watch it.
That's the one where Superman kills a guy.
Yeah.
Like, breaks his neck.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember that part. I'm just, like I said, I do not remember that movie. I watched it, don't remember it because of that. And then it came out and people were giving it rave reviews. And I loved, so a lot of the Amazonian women were like real life athletic women.
Yeah.
Like, there were CrossFitters, there were athletes, they were strong women that were already strong and already prominent.
Right.
And that was like, I was like, oh, okay, one of my favorite athletes is in this movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that, like, the, not extras, so to speak, but, like, the other Amazon women were anything but, I guess, no-name actors.
No,
I don't
they
think
were
very much for extras.
They were a lot of athletes, like CrossFitters, powerlifters. And it was really important to Patty Jenkins to have, like, strong women as the Amazonians. And I really appreciated that. So I knew that, and I was like, okay. And then the reviews started coming out, and they were positive. And I was like, okay, let me see. Because I didn't see it in theaters. I waited till it came out because, again, DC movies weren't good.
Right.
And so I watched it, like, in my bedroom at my parents' house over Christmas break on, I think I rented it. Now it's on HBO Max, which is convenient.
Yeah. And what I love about the Amazonian women, like Connie Nielsen and Robin Wright in this film, look so athletic. Mm-hmm. Like, Robin Wright could stab me and I'd be cool with it. You know what
And,
I
like,
mean?
that's the thing is
Facts.
there are these athletic women. They are not the quote unquote like pretty body types. And as somebody who is also an athletic woman who loves to powerlift, who loves to do CrossFit, who's a runner, like I appreciated that a lot more, I think, than I would have otherwise. Like if they were just pretty women, and they were all gorgeous women.
Yeah, there's no denying that.
No denying that. But the fact that their hair was messy, like, yeah, they had makeup on, whatever, but like their hair was messy. They had muscle. They were strong. Like that is the type of person I want to be. And so that, but I waited to see it because I was not expecting, my expectations were on the floor, unfortunately, because of the universe in which it was put into.
Right. And I think they made a smart move by going back to World War One. This to me views, and I think in 2017 it was very easy to make this comparison as a negative, but I think now with a little bit of context, because the genre has grown so much, this views very much like Patty Jenkins was attempting to emulate Captain America, First Avenger, and Iron Man.
I agree. And it's like, so the original storyline from the comics actually takes place in World War II. And I like that she made the decision to push it back to, because she was one of the writers of the movie as well. Mm-hmm. She pushed it back to World War I. And I think that made a huge difference because at that time,
scene.
Chills like that might be my favorite scene when she, oh man, the trench scene, and she just like takes off her outfit, or like, you know, her normal person outfit,
right,
and is in her superhero outfit with her shield, and like just, oh man. And the music, because they have the Wonder Woman theme, but it's like,
man, you could not have paid me to tell you that's where that TikTok sound comes from. Was that scene in this soundtrack that like thing that it does there?
Yeah,
I was like, that's Wonder Woman music.
Yeah, that's the Wonder Woman theme song.
Yeah,
like from
could not have paid me.
That was my favorite scene. That whole battle sequence, and I think that I know, Ethan, you said you didn't like the side characters as much, but I think for as little time as they had in the movie, they played an important role.
No, I really like those side characters.
Side characters?
Yeah, the whatever the like
Charlie the Chief and Samir.
The band of misfits that Steve puts together.
Because you see the scene where, and I can't remember his name, the sniper,
Charlie.
Charlie, and where he wakes up in the, like, she wakes him up when he's having a nightmare. Like they called it shell shock back then. That's PTSD.
Right.
And like his hesitancy to shoot, I think that's an important message.
So I've seen some criticisms on Charlie's character that, like, why do we keep insisting this character with PTSD be sent to war? And I agreed with those criticisms going into this second viewing because I hadn't seen it since 2017, 2018. But when I watched it, like, he doesn't fire a shot, I think, the whole movie. Maybe at the beginning of their fighting, but after he has that episode, I don't think he fires a shot. He's basically all lookout. And I mean, I don't think we should send people with severe PTSD into war. That's not what I'm advocating for. But when they say, like, you need to stay with us, who else is going to sing for us? I do think that is like an important inclusive moment.
I think it's important, and also you have to remember, especially World War I, World War II, Vietnam, even the Gulf War, we didn't know much about PTSD. And it hasn't been until pretty recently that PTSD has been taken seriously, especially by the military, which is unfortunate. But that PTSD didn't exist. I mean, it did, but like clinically it didn't exist back then.
Right.
And so he would have been sent back in, unfortunately. Like, this was the war to end all wars.
Right.
I think you make the argument he'd still be sent back in
I mean, you do, but they're trying. I mean, it's a complicated issue that I don't know that we really need to get into, but we can.
That's. I'm not here to talk about the questionable practices of the United States military at all. Like, that's not the point here.
I do think it was a bonkers claim that Patty Jenkins made that Ares, the god of war, the ultimate bad guy, worked for the Allied forces, or whatever we called ourselves in World War One.
No, see, I think that's so interesting, though, because I do think that is like, it's part of why it works so much much better that they were in World War One instead of World War Two. And
because if you said like British
Winston
leadership
Churchill.
in World War Two, Churchill was
like,
the god of death.
Yes, Kaiser Wilhelm and whatever those guys did, Otto von Bismarck, did horrible things, right? But they were like pre-Satan himself horrible things.
Well, and like
World War One was such a straightforward war. It's like, okay, we're gonna fight in a line and dig a ditch, and we're gonna fight the enemy, and everything's gonna be great. It's the Great War, the last war, the one end all wars.
Yeah, well, and then I like that she brought. I guess like isn't the right word. I'm a history nerd. I love history. The gas portion, very accurate. And gas wasn't used as much in World War II because of how it was used in World War I. Because even Hitler himself thought it was too much to use on soldiers. I'm saying soldiers specifically. I know what happened in World War II.
He wasn't opposed to gas.
He wasn't opposed to gas, but he was opposed to it during warfare.
Right.
Because he'd been hit with mustard gas, and he was like, "That's not cool."
No, it's not.
Yeah, Hitler, it's not cool.
It's not cool.
Hey, bud.
But like, it
Don't
was
gas
so
people.
correct. That is now
the
considered
police.
a war crime.
Yeah, unless it's a law enforcement tactic.
Well, so that doesn't technically qualify as a war crime because you're doing it against your own people, according to the Geneva Convention. We've gotten to a lot of those arguments.
I have to go back to Geneva, it sounds like.
I'm not getting into it again this week. I'm not getting into it again this week. I'm not doing it. Okay? I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
It's a bad guy, Ares.
World War One is so interesting in this movie because
it's not interesting anytime
like,
else.
Which is unfortunate because World War I is actually very interesting, just in a historical perspective. And this was really the first like big World War I movie.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about World War One. Were we the Allied forces, or was that a World War II thing? Like, even that, I don't know.
I think, like, retrospectively, we called ourselves... Like, it wasn't at... World War II was definitely... World War II was more popular because there were pictures and videos and...
Right.
But, like, World War I was important, and it was terrible. And they're, like... It's very interesting, and it was very useless. And
what were we fighting over in World War One?
Okay, so Ferdinand, that's not how you say his name. Ferdinand, that's the word. The Archduke of something. Yeah, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Yeah, Austria-Hungary was assassinated.
Okay.
And that started World War I. So the way that, like, wars
But
really
that's, like,
work,
what we were fighting? I mean, was it, like, we didn't agree with their political ideology?
So it had to
like,
do with alliances, really. So Austria-Hungary was then at war with... I can't remember what... It was a mess. Because it had this had never happened before. You never had a full-range war between all these countries. And it had to do with allies, and it was a pointless war. I mean, I think all wars are pointless, but
well, yeah.
But like it really was just pointless, and it caused so much destruction, so much so that nobody could imagine that there would be a World War II.
Right.
Because it wasn't called World. It was called the War to End All Wars, the Great War, which they mention in this movie, which I appreciated because that's how it was. And Ares is normally the big bad for Wonder Woman. It's either Ares or Mars, depending on which season of the comics you're looking at, which they're not the same god, but they're very similar gods. One's Roman, one's Greek. And there are similarities and differences between those mythos. But yeah, no, I think it was going into it and knowing who is the bad guy this time made me watch it more. When I was watching the first time, I was like, oh, Remus Lupin can't be the bad guy.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
People have an issue with that. I thought the reveal was a little silly, but I thought he did fine.
I think he did. I thought he did fine. Ethan disagrees.
I do. I think he was a horrible choice for that role.
I thought he was horrible until they do a shot, and it was probably a body swap or something. They do a shot where he's like naked, and it's from above, and he's like sitting down, and he's straight up jacked, and I was like, I'm in. I buy it.
And they put the armor on him, and he turns into Wonder Woman version of Bane.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't.
And he's just like, I don't understand why you'd want to fight me at all. I'm the god of war. First?
Yeah, I do. So what is the implication here, right? Wonder Woman kills Ares. Does that mean there's no World War II?
No,
because it was the war to end all wars, right?
Well, so like in this universe, so because she says that Ares brings up the point in the final battle that men will do this anyway because they have these tendencies. They will do this, blah, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, but he says that, but he's also like, but I've been feeding them the ideas.
Oh, yeah, he has.
I've been inceptioning them.
See, so one of the things I don't like about this movie is that they killed off Ares. Because he's supposed to be Wonder Woman's Joker, right? Like, he is her bad guy. So without him, like, a lot of the storylines that they can base Wonder Woman on kind of go out the window. Which is another reason why I think Wonder Woman 1984 didn't do as well. Besides Zack Snyder having more involvement. And I have feelings about Zack Snyder as a person.
Are we going to see Justice League? Are we going to, will you sit down and watch it? Tell me the truth.
The Snyder Cut?
Yeah.
No.
Not a chance in hell.
I think I'm going to end up watching it.
Why?
Because the pop culture, man.
Okay, but that's...
Also, I'm looking at
there's
our
a
cameras.
reason why that stuff ended up on the cutting room floor.
I know! Because he had a
need
family emergency. But... Joss Whedon at the time, this is what drives me crazy. Like, Joss Whedon just made the Avengers. Not that Joss Whedon is perfect by any stretch. Let's not get that confused.
No, yeah, I mean, I think they could have picked somebody better from the Marvel canon to fix it. I think Jon Favreau might have been a better choice, it seems.
I wonder if Jon Favreau could have, though. Like, does he have some sort of contract with Marvel where he can't work with DC? I feel like that might be.
He does now.
I'm sure he does at this point, yeah.
That's not with Marvel, it's with Star Wars.
It's with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney.
Kathleen Kennedy will kill him.
I think Kevin Feige would kill him, too. That's probably a group chat between the three of them, just like, hey, can I have John this month?
Joint custody over Jon Favreau.
Dude, we have so much MCU content coming out this year. I'm so excited.
It's every week.
It's every week. Although Disney Plus, I'm having issues with it and I'm mad about it. Apparently there's a glitch in Disney Plus because they just released Disney Stars, like the kids version. And so when I went to watch WandaVision on Friday, it told me I couldn't watch it because I wasn't allowed to on this profile. And I'm like, I am the profile owner.
I am the grown-up.
Adult. I am an adult. I pay for this. I want to watch WandaVision.
Man, I'm glad they're not just letting 8-year-olds watch WandaVision, though.
I think all of the MCU is just like nixed from that, which made me really sad because I did go back and watch Age of Ultron. It's a WandaVision.
No, I mean I jive with needing parental consent to watch the MCU when you're 8.
No, that's totally fine.
Especially WandaVision.
But I am a 29-year-old adult.
Yeah, sure.
I am almost.
It's
30.
cool. I still can't watch R-rated movies on my PlayStation 2 because it came with a freaking like child lock on it, and it's just undefeatable.
I don't really watch a lot of R-rated movies now that I think about it.
I don't watch any movies on my PlayStation 2.
Well, okay, I did from 2001 to
College.
no, not till college, till I got an Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I've never owned a PlayStation 2, so
I still have it. It's in my game cabinet in my living room.
Be careful not to put the blue back discs in it.
Mine doesn't read blue discs.
See? You're set.
Yeah, it stopped doing that at some point, and it never recovered. That used to have to be a thing. I would go into GameStop and be like, "Hi, can I buy this game? Also, is it blue? Because if not, if it is, I can't." Anyway, speaking of the color blue, the one thing that I hate more than anything about the DCEU
is the blue filter.
No, it's the freaking costumes. Okay, now I'm not advocating that we need to put Wonder Woman in the steel bikini or whatever. Mm-hmm. I am advocating that the suit needs to actually be colorful.
That's fair.
Hers is more colorful than Superman. Superman in the Snyder Cut is black.
Yeah, and it's bull. Okay, it was bull in this movie, and it's bull in that movie. It's garbage. Okay, this was made in a like post Guardians of the Galaxy world. Okay, I get that it's not the MCU. This movie was made in a post Guardians of the Galaxy world. Superhero movies are allowed to be fun to some aspect, which I don't think this movie is fun at any point. I do. This is a slog.
When there is Amazons like just murking German soldiers on the beach in Themyscira, I was having a blast.
I guess I was just so sold out on that part at that point.
I was having so much fun.
But the rest of the movie is just like heavy.
Yeah, I did like the. I see where you're coming from, Ethan. I don't disagree.
Anyway, my only point here was that I just want the costumes to be fun and colorful because they're superheroes, okay? Like, yeah, but Batman's the Dark Knight or whatever. I only work in black and very light gray. But, like, Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman are supposed to be, like, bright. But they're superheroes, for Christ's sake.
Did you like Shazam's costume?
Yeah, I forgot Shazam existed, honestly. That was a movie we saw and reviewed, and it just went out, gone from the brain.
I don't think I haven't seen that one.
It's okay.
I did like the color contrast between the Amazonian world and then the real world, because it was so bright. Like, I'm looking at my new IMAX screen, and it's like looking at my IMAX screen and then going to like my
the rest of the world just feels washed out because it's not in 5K Retina. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's literally my only complaint. I don't want the suit to be skimpier or gross. I just want it to be red and blue.
I
want it to be magical.
So almost completely veering off topic. I love the scene where she's trying on clothes, like early 1900 clothes, and she's like, "How do you fight in this?" And then Patty, right? No, that's Etta. Patty is the director. But then Etta is like, "Oh, we fight with our wife." Like, she mentions that women can't vote, and I was just like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't that long ago.
I did get very. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, like just that she brought up like that she would punch somebody for the vote, but generally women don't fight. I was like, but then she comes out later with the Wonder Woman's sword, and it's just like.
Quick dynamic character on that one, where she meets a powerful woman and immediately assumes her role of power, which I think is good.
I don't necessarily think she wasn't powerful before. It was just different. And she meets this woman who is so outwardly does not care about the societal norms of 1917 England. Because why would she?
Right.
And
she doesn't even want to be in England.
That's fair.
She wants to be in Belgium. At the front.
Mm-hmm.
I do think so. They do like a pretty good job. I definitely noticed it much better viewing number 2 of explaining that she's not your average Amazon, and there's like all the comments from Themyscira being like, she can never know what she is, which Mother knows best, big time on Hippolyta there. Not a huge fan of her parenting style. I think I would have told her.
I mean, I'm not a parent, so and I'm definitely never going to be a parent to a demigod.
Yes. Correct.
So I don't know that I have a say in this conversation, but
I mean, I think that there is this implied conflict between Hippolyta and Antiope about how Diana should be like prepared for potential conflict, and I think I side with Antiope more.
I think I can see both sides. Like, I can see that her mom just wants to protect her, and she's like, no, she's too young. Well,
I think her mom is ignorant to the fact that, like, when Zeus said Ares will be back, he was dead serious.
And dead. Yeah.
Well, Superman not knowing he's a superhero is what kills Jonathan Kent, so...
Oh, yeah. Like, I definitely think you should tell your kids, like...
Yeah, you should probably tell your kids they're superheroes.
Like, when do you do that is, like... I think the conflict that's coming up here is, like, well, when do you tell your kid that they're a demigod?
How many years pass between, because my understanding is like we'll throw some absurd eon of time between Ares and then World War One, like age of the Earth, essentially long, right? How long has Diana been around? That whole time? She must have been, because at Ares' fall, Zeus gifts Diana to the Amazons. She's like zillions of years old. Well, age of man, we'll say like 50,000, 30,000.
800.
800,000?
No,
800
just
years.
800.
So she was born in 1100.
Yeah, which I guess. Yeah.
The Norman invasion. The fault of Ares.
Oh no, that's sorry, that is in Wonder Woman 2.
What?
I'm Googling this.
Well, like, I mean,
what's your point?
She's
here?
old. She's old, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, basically nobody knows. Gal Gadot was like, oh, maybe she's about 5,000, and then Patty Jenkins said she was about 800 at the time of the first Wonder Woman movie.
You know who would know immediately offhand is if you were like, hey, Jon Favreau, how old is any character in your series? He'd be like, oh yeah, I could tell you that.
You say that, and then we get like 21 years later or whatever.
The timeline in the MCU is interesting.
Well, now it's all hecked up. It's all confusing. They can make anything happen because there was like the flash forward, flash back, blip, blah de blah. Nothing matters. How does Captain America change that when he went back? Oh, okay.
I don't think he did. Man,
he could change anything. They can write anything.
I dislike Captain America's ending in Endgame so much.
What, that this
so
like
much.
Selfless man who was told by the love of his life to live his own life went back and just ignored that entirely?
Yes. It doesn't make sense to his character.
Starts rough, dies rough, whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is. I'm glad that
you know, everything comes full circle, right? Tony Stark's beginning was awesome. Steve Rogers' beginning was highly questionable. Tony Stark's ending was awesome, and Steve Rogers' ending was highly questionable.
But it's Steve's middle that's so good.
It was Steve.
Captain
It was Steve's
America.
like last 95%. Like the top 5% on that was good. Steve as a character prior to Avengers Endgame was a trash heap.
You didn't like Civil War? I love Civil
No,
War.
I did not like Steve in Civil War. How many more times do I need to say this? He's wrong.
Steve was so
He's
right.
the asshole.
He was so right.
Oh, he is not wrong. Have you read? You can read the Sokovia Accords. They are not good.
It doesn't...
Have you seen WandaVision? Tyler Hayward. Governments have agendas.
Okay.
Steve was right.
No, he wasn't.
Sword is bad. Shield was bad.
Steve
Hydra
is
was
bad.
Steve's not bad.
He is.
He just has a blind spot for that one serial killer that's been hypnotized.
Well, so Bucky Barnes is actually not based on Bucky Barnes in the comics, and he's based on a character named Archie, can't remember his last name, who upsettingly is gay. Bucky Barnes is actually bisexual in the comics as well, and he had a crush on Steve Rogers, and I'm sad that they did not elaborate on that in the movies, but that's fine.
We might get a little of that in Falcon Winter Soldier. Bucky have a little crush on Captain America. Wouldn't that be the best? Yo,
I would be so excited, but like also,
I would love for Marvel's first gay character to be somebody I like.
do you not like either of those characters?
Bucky. No, I don't like Bucky Barnes at all.
Is
He's the worst. He's the worst character in the MCU.
Is Peter Quill not like confirmed bisexual? I thought that was like part of his character.
He's definitely not straight because he's dating an alien. I feel like that
He
disqualifies
was dating
you from...
an alien. She doesn't remember him now.
That's true. But like I feel like that doesn't qualify you as being heterosexual because you're dating a different species.
Right, like she could have been made of rocks.
I mean, the argument is that it's still a problem until Marvel comes out and says it,
Yeah, and I agree with that.
which they
to be
just
honest.
refuse to do.
And I hate that. I think it's stupid. But I've also gotten to arguments with the comic book fanboys TMs on the TikTok. I hate them.
You get into so many arguments on TikTok. I followed you recently, which
Yeah,
is like,
I'm sorry.
I'm all about it. No, fight. But you know how like right when you first follow somebody who's got a pretty big back catalog on TikTok, that like your following page is just like their videos for a while?
Yeah.
That's my experience.
Oh, Julia, I cannot like your videos anymore, or it ruins my whole algorithm.
That's fair.
Like-
you did like my FedEx one, though.
I did, yes.
I'm still mad
That's
at FedEx.
that's that one I'm cool with, right? Like I can get on the screw the mail delivery hate train for sure. I cannot, but I do
Save
not
the
want
mail though.
I do not want my whole For You page to be ex-Mormon content simply because I never was or will be a Mormon.
Well, and that's fine. I like accidentally got on ex-Mormon TikTok, and then I just fight people.
Because you like one video by Julia Goes, and it's over. It's over. It's your whole For You page just like, this is why the LDS church is great. Well, this is why it's bad. I'm like,
I don't even get the. I make those videos and I do not get ex-Mormon content. Like, let me tell you, because I don't watch ex-Mormon.
I liked
content.
one of your videos one time, and for that it was like, oh man, he likes this stuff. Somebody put him in the pile.
I've made it onto like youth group was exclusively a bad experience TikTok, which I don't think is necessarily true. I think it's more or less a.
So I disagree with a lot of the ex-Mormons, not all of them, a lot of the ex-Mormons on TikTok, because, and I think this is a thing with people who are in high demand religions think that all religion is bad, and I disagree with that. I agree that some religious sects are bad.
I think the big thing that I've learned from like my journey through faith is that like you still just have to think for yourself. Like you can be a part of a religious sect, and you can be a part of. I mean, you should avoid things that are like overtly awful and overtly hateful. But like you still just have to think for yourself as a human being. You don't have to identify 100% with every group that you're a part of.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And I think thinking
Yeah.
for yourself is in high demand right now. Low stock.
yeah, so growing up in a high demand religion or a cult-like religion, I'm hesitant to say that word, but you are not allowed to think for yourself. And so a lot of people are just now... I left Mormonism years ago. Officially left Mormonism last year, which was a whole thing. But like, so people leave that and they're automatically like, oh, all religion is like that. I'm like, it's not though. Like, there are very accepting communities out there, regardless of whatever religion, you believe it. I know you guys have talked about being Christian, and so I'm not Christian anymore. I don't disbelieve Christianity, but that's just not my path. But there are great Christian communities out there. Just the one I grew up in was not. But that doesn't make them all bad.
Right.
I have recently gotten onto, and this is a place I don't want to be on TikTok, but I've recently gotten onto, like, praise and worship drummer TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
God.
I get praise and worship guitar player. Praise and worship bands think it's the funniest thing in the world. They will die for this. If you can work in Star Wars into, like, a worship song.
Yeah.
Where, like, there's a guitar solo and all of a sudden you can be like, neow, neow, no, 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 neow, neow. They think that is the funniest thing in the world.
So I saw this dude who posted, and I shouldn't have done this, okay? But I was into the thing a little bit. I saw this dude post this video where he was like drumming and ripping off this solo, and was clearly like part of a church band.
He had the cage.
Yeah, he had the cage around him, and there's other people wilding out with their $4,000 guitars, and
on Sunday morning.
And he had his in-ear track like playing through it, as well, so you could hear the music director being like, "All right, Dave, take a solo." And the comment, the caption on the bottom was just like, "Just a little solo from church last Sunday," and so I commented and said, "Church."
Oh, man, you opened a can of worms there.
And boy, howdy, let me tell you how many comments are like, "I don't understand why you'd hate on other Christians. You know, Peter said to dance like a fool in front of the Lord. Like, this is, just because your church doesn't have any fun doesn't mean other churches can't have fun."
He's right, you know.
Yeah, but, like, that's not, nothing discourages free thinking to me more than those freaking, Yeezy churches.
I don't know. See,
like you took me to that one a couple times in college, and that was fucking
Water's
weird.
Edge?
Yeah,
fucking
weird. It's because it's just cultism dressed up in this package of liberalism.
Well, and what happens at those churches, and this is what frustrated me so much with them, is he would read a passage from, like, The Message, which is not the Bible, or would read like one verse way out of context. And this happens at a lot of churches. This isn't just in the mega churches. Or there would be sermons where he wouldn't even open the book.
Yeah.
It'd be like, man, you have to pull from the text at least a little bit. Cite your sources, 3 to 5, APA notation. Like, I need at least a little bit. Otherwise, there's no grounds for what you're telling me. There's no, like, if you're telling me we're following a moral code, you got to give me the code.
I have nothing to add to this.
Yeah, I just don't like. I got on this, and I'm still getting these comments, like and messages or whatever. Like,
oh, if you message me on TikTok, that's like that doesn't happen
daily, and I don't get involved, man. Like, I have 200 followers. Like, I don't get involved. I am nobody. Okay, so I said the word church because praise and worship to me is
there was quotes there.
Praise and worship music to me is not. You have to have something else involved, and that is to me only distracting from the message. I don't go to church to go to a concert of bad music.
It's so weird because it is not good, isn't it?
It's not good. Contemporary Christian music
has a color to it.
It's never been good, right? Like, not Christian rock, not talking about Reliant K, okay? Because I would love to listen to, like, if you got up in church and was just like, I'm gonna play "Be My Escape" by Reliant K. I would be like, heck yeah, God, let's go. But they're just like, you know, it's all Hillsong crap. And yeah, like, If We Are the Body by Casting Crowns slaps for sure, but that's about the one song I could think of.
Casting Crowns got a couple bangers
in that
no doubt.
genre. That like, it's not Christian rock. It's like, we speak for the church music. Like, we actively use the word Jesus too much.
Praise Adonai
in the song.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have anything to do with church. Like, I'll go to Winter Jam if it comes back. Sure, that's fine. I mean, I won't, but
I'm not buying tickets for that. You crazy?
I'm not going to go there on a Sunday morning and be like, yeah, what I want to hear right now is a ripping guitar solo.
I want these guys to find a way to work Star Wars.
Anyway,
back to Wonder Woman. Let me tell you something that I got very upset about. Not about Wonder Woman, but the director of my all-time favorite movies' response to Wonder Woman pissed me off.
James Cameron?
Yeah, James Cameron did not have good things to say about Wonder Woman. He said that she was a sex symbol and that she was not a good feminist icon, and that his Sarah Connor was the pinnacle of a feminist icon. And I read that review and I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah, that's not Hippolyta. That's Antiope here, right? She's in the movie.
What?
Sarah Connor from Terminator is Robin Wright in Wonder Woman.
Robin Wright is not Sarah Connor.
I know she's not, but like the characters are similar, right? I haven't seen Terminator in years.
I did not pay enough attention to that part.
I've never actually seen Terminator, but I just saw that
Sarah Connor. Oh man, let me see if I can. I'm gonna pretend that I remember the synopsis pretty well. John Connor goes back in time to prevent the Terminators from being built or to win the war or something, and has to meet Sarah Connor.
Because John Connor is the reason for... Yeah, I'm aware.
Sarah Connor gives birth to her husband, is what I'm trying to say.
That's gross.
Yes. Yes, that's what happens.
Genetically, how does that... I don't want to think about that. That's creepy.
Yeah, I don't know. They're strange movies, but...
Terminator.
Yeah, well, but like... And we all know that I'm a Titanic stan.
We do know this, yes.
I don't think James Cameron's ever spoken to a woman, though. Like,
I really don't think that he's married. I feel like
is Kate Winslet a powerful feminist icon character in Titanic?
She's not, but she's not, yes.
Yes.
Like, she
challenges the status quo. That's something.
Yeah, she does challenge the status quo. I don't know, but she's still very...
There was never a doubt in my mind that Rose was written by a man.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's the thing. You can tell that she was written by someone who thinks they know what a strong woman is, but doesn't. I guess that's what I was saying.
I think this movie's got a lot of, obviously powerful messages for young women and older women. I think where there's only one part where Patty Jenkins is like, this is a feminist movie. And it's when they're in the boat and they're talking about pleasure and how men are unnecessary for pleasure. And I was like, yes, the feminist agenda. Here it is.
Well, and like, okay, it is not an in-your-face feminist movie at all.
No.
And it wasn't meant to be. And the arguments I've been getting on TikTok is like, well, Wonder Woman was so much better. These are always from, white men TM.
Right.
They're like, well, Wonder Woman was a much better superhero movie than Captain Marvel. And I'm like, they're like, oh, they should have taken out the feminist tones for Captain Marvel. And I'm like, then you lose the movie, dummy.
Right. Like there's like, this
that's
clear, overt theme. Right?
Yeah.
That Carol doesn't need Marvel.
No. Screw him. Punch him in the face.
And that man has been containing the power of Marvel the entire time.
On one hand...
Spoiler alert for Captain Marvel, I suppose.
Oh my god, it's Amelia Pond.
Oh yeah, she's been hanging out.
I did not know she was just sitting behind you.
Yeah, like, while y'all were... since I know this is going to be on video, while y'all have been, like, just talking about stuff that I have no say in, I've just been, like, pointing to her. Because she was over there for a little bit.
Gotcha.
It's a very comfy couch.
I do want to make it abundantly clear that my opinion on this movie does not matter. At all. The fact that I did not love this as a superhero movie does not matter and should not matter to anyone. It's not important, okay? Like, I come on and say these things because that's what the show is. Mm-hmm. My opinion on this movie is not important. The last thing I want to do is take this movie especially away from literally anybody. If you thought this was the greatest superhero movie ever to exist because you grew up loving Wonder Woman and you finally saw yourself in a superhero on screen, that's the only job this movie has, and it succeeded.
Yeah, and I think it did so much more than just that for women.
No, absolutely,
and for women's roles in superhero movies. Because I think I mentioned this earlier, without Wonder Woman, you don't have Captain America. Without that, you don't have...
You don't have Captain Marvel.
That's what I meant.
You do super have Captain America.
You super have Captain America. Without Wonder Woman, you don't have Captain Marvel. Without Wonder Woman, you don't have WandaVision.
Well, and you have to even zoom out a little bit more, right? Without Iron Man and Captain America the First Avenger, you definitely don't have Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok or, these sort of interesting, unique directors' takes on the superhero genre. You don't get to those points without having Patty Jenkins make Wonder Woman.
Right, so having Patty Jenkins make Wonder Woman.
Having female directors make superhero films,
Yeah, because there are so few female directors getting big movies, and it's so you see Patty Jenkins make Wonder Woman, which was a huge movie, and that is such a powerful thing for many women. But like, I work in a male-dominated field. The job that I have now is the first time I've had female coworkers.
Oof.
In my 12 years in this field.
Patty Jenkins, I believe, was the first woman to direct a movie that cost more than $100 million.
I believe so.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And she is also still, I think, the only woman to direct a superhero movie by herself.
Yeah, which is frustrating.
Because Captain Marvel apparently needed a co-director.
And it suffers for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that you can't, with Captain Marvel, and there are valid criticisms of Captain Marvel, and I have criticisms of Captain Marvel, but I think if you took away a male co-director, it's a better movie.
Yes.
I 100% agree, yeah. Because
the stuff that people wrongly complain about, I think would have been better if a woman was like, honey, no, that's what happens.
And so the benefit that Wonder Woman gets that Captain Marvel does not is that, like, Wonder Woman doesn't have to really do anything for other stories. Like, Wonder Woman doesn't have to be anything, right? It doesn't have 5 more movies laying on top of it, and it's not setting on top of 18 to 20 movies being like, this has to puzzle piece in here, there, everywhere.
It didn't come in between two of the biggest movies of all time, which was Infinity War and Endgame.
Right. And yeah, so the pressure on Captain Marvel to be like, let's get this first-time superhero director and writing team in here to write and create a character that, like, we've established characters. Like, everybody just watched T'Challa die. Everybody just watched, all these great characters die. And we're left with the big 6 who we've been watching for 13 years. Like, it's such a challenge. And I think, I've always been hot on Captain Marvel. I love that movie. But yeah, it's got hurdles that...
Yeah, it had issues that it needed to jump through that I don't think was done well. But I also don't think that Marvel could have come out with Captain Marvel any earlier.
Well, and here's
they rushed it too. They've made that very clear.
And here's the other thing is,
and then
if the character they were introducing had the clout off screen of a Spider-Man or a Superman
or a Wonder Woman,
you would have a much harder time selling me on this is the most powerful character in this universe.
So Captain Marvel isn't the most powerful character in that universe, though.
No, it's Scarlet Witch, right?
Currently, yeah,
I just don't know why this
absolutely.
argument matters, though. Like,
I don't know why it matters either, but for whatever reason, it does. And so one of the comments I got on these TikToks, because somebody was like, well, Wonder Woman did so much better and didn't get as much backlash. And I was like, Wonder Woman absolutely got backlash. You read some of the critical reviews from people within the movie industry, it absolutely got backlash. but also it's a completely different story than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel came out from the MCU, which people had certain expectations for the MCU. With the DCEU, your expectations were on the floor.
Right.
Like,
be better than Suicide Squad. Even the DCEU didn't like Batman vs Superman, or not Batman, but Justice League.
So
they're re-releasing it with a different director.
Like, I went and watched Justice League after I watched Wonder Woman, and my expectations were like still on the floor.
When they play the Wonder Woman theme in Justice League, I get chills.
So the only reason why I watched Justice League was because of Wonder Woman. And I think a lot of people, that was why they went and watched Justice League, is because you knew that there was going to be this introduction of Wonder Woman. And yeah, but like Wonder Woman as a movie, I don't think needs to be in the DCEU. Like, it doesn't have to be. It's a standalone movie. Even if you just watch that and Wonder Woman 1984, they don't correspond with the other movies, which I think is a good thing. And even so much so that Patty Jenkins made the decision to not have an end credit scene. She's the one who made that decision. She's like, no, this is the end of the story. It doesn't need to go into the DCEU. And I was like, good for you.
They do have the Bruce Wayne thing at the beginning and the end.
I mean, it's the picture.
Yeah, and she writes the email that's like...
but that's like really the only...
Yeah.
You could do that without it being a part of the DC. Like, you could take this movie and Wonder Woman 1984, which I think would have been better without... Anyway, I could get into my complaints of Wonder Woman 1984. But you could take those two movies completely out of the DCEU, and it makes sense.
Yes.
I don't think they need to be in the DCEU. I don't think they should be in the DCEU.
I think they will take them out of the DCEU. I think they'll be like,
so.
The Wonder Woman from Batman vs Superman is just Gal Gadot playing a different character.
Yeah.
But then you have the issue with Captain Marvel, where you have a very in-depth, well-done universe. The expectations were completely different. And for some reason, people didn't like Brie Larson before the movie even came out.
I think people haven't seen Room, I think is what happened.
Yeah, nobody's seen that movie.
Which I get. It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's such a hard movie to watch. I think that's an important movie, too. And shows, like, a different type of strength for people. And I think that is a very important movie. So, listeners, go watch that movie if you can. It's important. You might only be able to watch it once, though.
The problem I'm hearing is that a lot of the actors don't like Brie Larson.
That's actually false.
I don't think it is.
Maybe some of them. I'm sure not all of them get along. They can't all get along.
I think it was Anthony Mackie and her had an issue, right?
I've heard too many separate reports with too many separate people to think that it is like a coincidence at this point. And this is not specific to the MCU either. Like,
maybe I don't know. And I don't know. It depends on why they don't like her. Because if they don't like her because she's... Hold on, let me think of my words properly. Because she's a bitch, she comes off that way. Like, I don't think that's a valid criticism, because I also come off that way. I think it just depends.
I think if you're rude to people, people are allowed to not like you. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, that's not what I was trying to say, but yeah.
No, yeah.
I think it just depends.
I don't know why people don't like her.
That's the thing, yeah. I don't know why, and I'm sure it's not everybody, because her and Samuel L. Jackson seem to have a pretty good relationship.
Well, and I think there's also, behind the screen, if you've been working with the same actors for 12 years, you're probably pretty tight, and then they bring in someone who's supposed to be a main character. It's like, I don't know about this. Yeah,
because I think because they also brought in Tom Holland as well, but Tom Holland's like a puppy.
Yeah, everybody loves Tom Holland.
Also, Tom Holland is playing Spider-Man. We got to remember, like, Spider-Man is the only Marvel character that matters.
Yeah. I'm not talking about like Spider-Man or like bringing him into. I mean, like, as a cast member, like bringing him in. No, I know. He's like a puppy. I think that's like you see in the interactions, they like treat him. And this is not like a bad thing. Like, I'm not trying to like degrade Tom Holland. I think he's adorable. But like, he's like a Labrador. He's just cute and adorable. And like, I like him.
He's
fun to watch.
Not a bitch.
I want a thing with him and Anthony Mackie together because their chemistry is my favorite in off screen. Where they just keep getting back and forth with each other in interviews, and Tom Holland will be like, "Oh, I haven't seen the Falcon." Oh, right, because there isn't one. There isn't a Falcon movie. Sorry, I forgot.
I like that, and then also the interview. So for I think it must have been Endgame. They had Benedict Cumberbatch babysitting him because they did every interview together, and I was like, oh, I thought their relationship was cute.
I can imagine him Tom Holland going to spoil something and Benedict just being like, Thomas, you stop that.
Happened in some of the interviews.
You stop that right now. Thomas!
I was so... Oh, no, I think that, yeah, you bring somebody in that late in the game after however many years, there's bound to be some tension.
Yeah, Captain Marvel definitely had its issues. I did love it. I saw it in theaters twice. I did love it. I have not seen it since then, and I've had absolutely no desire to watch it, which scares me a little bit.
Oh, I have. It is quite literally, it is a woman's power fantasy movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot of men didn't like it, which is fine. Wasn't made for them. How many white men power fantasy movies are there? All of them. All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty.
I want Captain Marvel. I want Monica Rambeau to get a power fantasy movie so that black women have that. I want Falcon.
Do you kind of want Jude Law to punch you in the face? I mean, I wouldn't say no.
I mean, I would punch Jude Law in the face happily. Not because I hate him, but because I feel like he'd let me.
He's so kind.
He's so nice.
If this is really what you need to do, then okay, we can make that happen. Yes, thank you.
But if a man tells me to smile, I do want to punch that man in the face.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best thing about wearing masks is nobody tells me I'd be prettier if I smiled.
God, see, I just don't have that experience, which is I cannot imagine what it would be like to be a woman for a day. The amount of things that women go through that men can't fathom is, I mean, the list isn't...
Right, it's I'm not even close to being there because I cannot fathom putting myself in the position of a man who would say that to a woman.
And that's because you are a decent human being.
I'm so far removed from any part of that conversation that it is just anytime that happens, anytime I hear that happens, it's so bonkers to me. Not because I don't believe the woman, but because it's hard for me to believe that there are other male human beings out there that do those things constantly to strangers.
Well,
you should look at some of the comments I get about my nose ring.
Oh God.
I've seen some of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awful.
It's because I have my nose pierced, I get talked down to I'm not. They're like, oh, you'd be prettier without it. And I'm like, I don't care about
not really
your
up to
opinion.
You. Yeah.
I'm not attracted to old white men. Thank you. Bye.
I couldn't even say something that online, let alone say it to another stranger in the line at 7-Eleven. Right? Right. It's so crazy to me.
I think about my wife is pregnant right now. That's insane. Can't imagine doing that. But she also is sick all the time, and she'll throw up 5 to 10 times a day. If I throw up once, I'm down for the count. I am so weak and useless. My wife is powerful and amazing. And
your wife, I want to be friends with. You can tell her I said that. Would like to be friends with her.
It feels like a little bit of a false equivalency, though. I think if you throw up 10 times a day, you would just eventually develop a tolerance a little bit.
I don't think you do, man.
I don't know. See, I think, I don't know. I've never... Nope, back up. I've never had a baby.
No way. Oh my gosh.
But I have been pregnant. And I was very sick, and it was not fun for me.
Yeah.
At all. So I can't imagine having to go through that for longer than I did.
So Emily's coming up on her 17th month on Earth like this. Because it was the entire first pregnancy, and now it's this entire pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. By no means am I trying to say that your wife is not strong and powerful. I was specifically talking about you, Tyler Carlin. If you started vomiting 10 times a day, I think you would eventually, you personally would find a way to just sort of
deal with
exist.
I don't think I would. I think I would be just insufferable constantly.
I hate throwing up. It's like my least favorite thing.
Oh, same. But I throw up like the world's ending.
I will refuse.
Ethan
like,
gets
to
in the
point-
bathtub.
What? No, I don't.
There's a story of you at your parents' house.
I
where
threw
we
up in
were
the
out
bathtub one
night.
time because I couldn't get the toilet open. I was so drunk and I couldn't figure out how to get the toilet open.
I remember there was a story where like you woke up in your own vomit in the bathtub.
That's not
Is this
true.
not real?
No.
Okay.
No.
I could be making this up.
No.
Oh.
But like even if I'm just sick, like I throw up so violently that like all the blood vessels will pop in my face, and I look like I got like I went 10 rounds of Conor McGregor, like, and my body hurts for 3 days, like my whole stomach region of the muscles in my stomach.
I hate throwing up,
same.
like to the point I will force myself not to the point it's like I know logically I'd probably feel better if I did throw up, but like I just can't do it.
Yeah, it depends on how bad I'm feeling, for sure. Sometimes I'll just give into it and be like, oh, sweet release.
Oh, with the COVID vaccine, I did. There was no choice. No
Been there.
choice, but we made it to the toilet, and like I'm proud of that moment. But like I was fighting it for so long, and then it just hit. I was like, oh, we have to move now.
My argument with the vomiting thing is like I have debilitating migraines. I have since I was like 5.
And now
feel
they're
ya.
not debilitating?
Well, I mean they are, but like I have just sort of learned to exist alongside them.
Right.
Where I'm usually not
yeah.
sidelined, to the point where like, and I've told this story before, but to the point where like I had to argue and I had to call my mom when I was in middle school because I had a prescription medication for my migraines, and my middle school nurse would not give me the medication because she didn't believe that I had a migraine, and she like reported me to the school for drug-seeking behavior. And I was like, I'm 12. I just want to go back to history class.
Dope Sick is about Roanoke.
What's up?
What?
Dope Sick is about Roanoke, man. Kids our age were doing drugs.
I mean, yeah. A kid from our graduating class died of an overdose, like right after graduation.
So I feel like
Yeah.
though, like if at least the migraine medicine I've been on, that's not what you take for like
Yeah, no, it was not like an
getting
opiate.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, my migraine medicine does the same thing that Benadryl does, in that you can't have a migraine if you're just not conscious.
Yeah, my migraine medication was just like, basically it was prescription strength Excedrin. Like it was Tylenol plus caffeine. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to go back to I don't want to lay down in your office for the rest of the day and sleep it off. I want to go back to band class. But I
want to go learn about World War I.
Yeah, I want to go learn, please. And she's just like, I can't give you this medication. You don't have a migraine. She's like, I have migraines and I know how migraines work. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh, I hate people like that. Like,
I'm sorry for being stronger than you. Like, I don't know what you want.
Like, you know how your migraines work. So I have, my whole family has migraines because apparently I got the genetic lottery of that. Because both my dad, my mom, and then my younger brother have migraines. And I didn't start getting them until I got a TBI. But I get them now. And, like, my mom can, like, power through a migraine. She's like, I've had a migraine for 4 days and I've gone to work. And I'm like, I'm sorry, mother.
Yeah.
Must be nice being you and your amazing resolve.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes,
like,
for sure.
I mean, I've done it. Because if it's not bad enough that, like... Because if I have to take migraine medicine, I can't drive.
Do you know when female comedians go out and they're like, have you heard of this man cold? And they talk about, like, weak-willed white men when they get, like, the sniffles become useless.
The man cold is real. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's me with any... if I have, like, a sore knee, that's a man cold.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend the way that men act when they have the man cold. But the man cold is a genetic deficit of being a man.
It is our only downfall.
When you as a white man are sick, it is the worst thing that's ever happened in the entire world. And your brain is incapable of thinking about it otherwise, right? Like there has never been a tragedy greater than the cold that you have right then.
I'm stuffy.
And it's like you don't want to feel like that. You don't want to like ask the strong, beautiful woman in your life to grab you a Gatorade because you're dying, right? Like you don't want to feel like this, but you're incapable of doing anything else. Like we don't want to be this way.
I also want to, this is my challenge. This is what I've been trying to learn for myself is how do I harness this awful feeling and develop from it empathy so that when somebody else is sick, I can care for them properly and really go out of my way for them.
Okay, so with caring people who are sick, it totally depends on the person, just to let you know. So like me personally, leave me alone. I do not want to be like, bring me Gatorade and that's it. Which my mom understands.
I'm really trying to help the humans that live in my house.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so like it really just depends on who it is. Like for me personally, if you could just bring me meds and Gatorade and then just leave me alone, that's how I want to be taken care of. I know some people are not like that. My dad does not understand that. He will bother me consistently when I'm sick. And I'm like, please just leave me alone. I just want to die in my bed alone.
When I recently house sat for Tyler, and I got so sick while I was
Did you
there.
spell your last name wrong? Hold on. Oh, no, I get it. Never mind.
So I
Go
lost.
on.
First of all, the E's are threes because I've lost both of my E's from this set. And I don't know where because it has two of each letter, right?
Right.
And I don't know where the
like
D's
that's not
went.
enough.
I don't know where the other D went because I attached to one of the D's to make the and for the bacon and eggs. So I don't know where the other D is. No, I got so sick when I was at Tyler's house, and I was like, I have nothing here. Like I showed up last night, and I have like nothing here to like help myself. I don't have any Gatorade or anything because I was like dying and dehydrated and throwing up and awful, and I had been sick all night and had the worst headache. And I'm like, wait a minute. There is a pregnant woman that lives here. And I opened the fridge and reached the back and just grabbed a Pedialyte because my brain immediately knew it was in there. And I was like, this is what I wanted. It's super Gatorade. Like, this is what I needed right now.
Pedialyte is the bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I hate it. I cannot drink it. Oh, it's so
dude,
bad.
it is
will go
God's
through-
gift
it
to
is-
man.
It is the best thing for when you are dehydrated. As someone who is chronically dehydrated because I don't know how to drink water, Pedialyte is the best thing. And I also drink too much alcohol, probably.
When I was still living in Newport News.
On your podcast about drinking alcohol?
For real.
I'm drinking.
Hell yeah.
That's alcohol. I thought that was a Red Bull.
No! Well, I was drinking a Red Bull. So this is, oh my gosh. So, this is a company called Two Chicks.
Oh, this is
And
the
they
wine
do-
not the wine in a can. The cocktail in a can thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're really good. So the last time I went to the liquor store, I spent $75 to buy every single product that they had from this company. Because A, I want to support them, and B, they're tasty. But they're not like super alcoholic.
Yeah,
It's 5% alcohol. Like I'm not getting
It's
it drunk
Sunday
off this.
morning. We call that brunch here.
It's 11:45. It's
Okay.
I waited till after 11.
if I had gone to church, I would have already been drinking.
See, I didn't get wine at church, so
Oh, I did.
Oh yeah, from the time I was like 10.
If you give me grape juice at your church, I'm going somewhere else next week.
Oh,
That's
facts.
all there is
Yeah.
to it.
Facts.
oh, we got water.
If you
Water. Here's a
Hi.
soggy cracker.
Oh no, it was bread. So you got bread and water.
That's such a bold interpretation of the blood of Christ. Be like, Jesus turned
hi.
water to wine. He'll do it for you too.
Well, you forget that I was part of a religion that very much had laws, like religious laws against drinking alcohol.
Sure, yeah, but you're the first Mormon I've talked to, or ex-Mormon I've talked to, that actually told me about the ins and outs of communion there.
I didn't know they did communion, to be honest with you.
It's called sacrament for them, but it is communion.
Oh yeah, see, I was Catholic. We got a bunch of those.
Yeah, I've been to a total of 2 Catholic services, but both of them were for funerals, so I don't know how accurate that is to
We call them masses.
normal.
Yeah. Mass.
It's,
What
it's
do you-
a different word for everything in the Catholic Church.
The sermon drives me nuts. You call it a homily.
Homily, yeah.
What a stupid name for it.
So the only time I really studied Catholic masses was because I was a music major, and
It's huge. Lo Marme.
it's,
Yeah.
that's actually a really big part of music.
Yeah.
So I know that part.
Yeah,
That's
the
about
whole
it.
the whole mass has a score that you can use,
Yeah,
like top
and
to
there's
bottom.
different depending on what type of mass it is.
Yes.
Bacon and
I
Eggs
know
is about to devolve. The upcoming episode on Bacon and Eggs, we cover the Passion of the Christ.
The Passion of the Christ and the Da Vinci Code in the same episode.
Oh my gosh, I do like the Da Vinci Code.
That movie
though.
I do
slaps.
too. That's a
100%.
good one. Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
was one of those. That was one of those things
Passion's
where, like,
good too.
When I grew up in church, they were like, "Don't read the Da Vinci Code. It's a sin." And then all of a sudden, my grandmother was reading it for her church book club, and I was like, "Okay, so maybe it's not a sin."
So my
Reading
dad
isn't a sin.
I guess that's a full series, but also Dan Jones, I guess, writes a lot of books.
Dan Brown, yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah.
Dan Jones is my favorite historian.
Dan Brown
I have
does write a bunch of
I have a
books,
favorite.
and his other books are garbage.
well, my dad likes them.
Oh, they're
Which is what it is.
they're white dad books for sure.
My dad is in fact a
Yeah,
white dad.
they're like, it's like Robert Ludlum or James Patterson or any of those, like, I write spy novels.
Yeah,
Spy
so my
novel.
dad read a lot of those,
Ben
and so
Romanovs.
we had them in the house, and I read the Da Vinci Code before the movie came
Yeah.
out because I was
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
It was huge.
bestseller. Yeah.
yeah, and it didn't bother me, even as like an uber Mormon. I was like, meh.
Yeah,
sense.
no fiction written about the Catholic Church has ever bothered me, ever. Like, it is fascinating to me when they make that stuff.
I just like fiction.
Yeah, same.
Books. I like books. I'm impressed that you guys are reading how you guys are reading because I'm over here like, I've read 3 days in a row according to
think
my
I'm-
Kindle app.
What?
There you go. That's progress.
34 and a half is how many I have? Maybe
I'm
35?
on 22 or 23, so I'm behind a lot, but I'm still very proud. of it. My goal is to.
I have worked very hard over the last week and a half to claw back the advantage that Baconandeggsmedia developed because I want to read some longer books and I need to, like, catch back up before I can do that.
Good
So
news
I
for anybody
read,
watching
like,
along at home.
nonfiction.
Eni is about to start a new job where she will be in training for 6 months, which means no audiobooks at work, which means we all have a chance to not lose.
I don't
Becca's
know how
going to have to
many-
get a new job.
Yeah,
if we want to win.
Becca's going to have to get a desk job where she can't read while she drives.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
But also, I
think
went
of
to
that.
Barnes & Noble and bought $100 worth of paper books so that I can just, like, because I can read with my eyes faster than somebody can read into my ears. I've
Yeah,
discovered.
so I have the Kindle Unlimited, which
Yep.
is $10 a month, and you can just check out books. But so like my problem though is I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of nonfiction, which is
You don't
just,
say.
You
I
strike
like-
me as a nonfiction reader.
You make a nonfiction podcast. Yeah, we're not shocked.
to make. So what am I actually like? What am I listening to right now? We've totally delved completely crazy, but what am?
Well, once we grab what
Oh,
you're
I'm
listening
listening.
to.
I'm listening to the Last Days of the Romanovs right now.
What is that? What's it about?
The last days of
It's
the
about
Romanovs.
The last days of the Romanov. It's about the Romanov family's time at Ekaterinburg, the house of special purpose where they were assassinated.
Horrifying. That's scary. I don't like people getting hurt.
Speaking of the
Let's do
Romanovs,
some-
real quick, I do want to say, what is her name that is directing freaking Kate Shortland? That's directing Black Widow. The Marvel's first solo female directed superhero movie. It's got a lot riding on it. For that reason, is that, like, they didn't give her a white man to tell her what to do.
Good.
I mean, Kevin Feige was certainly there.
Sure, right, but she got to direct
Right.
the movie.
Right.
Also, I do want to say that all co-directors are bad, always. Just let, for better or worse, let one person do it.
Well, let's wrap on Wonder Woman.
Okay, do it. Do it,
Okay.
coward.
I need the listener score, but wrapping our scores from us, these are not correct, so I have to delete them. I gave this an 86. Our guest gave it an 82. Ethan gave it a 59.
Yep.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 93. Metacritic gave it a 77. And I did all of those from memory. I think they're correct. I have no idea what the listener score is going to be. There's a pretty wide range, and just looking at listener reviews, which if you want your listener score included, you can get a numerical score by joining our Facebook group. We ask for reviews the day we review the movies or the day before. And then if you want like a blurb review, that's for our patrons. So you can go to patreon.com/baconandeggs, sign up for the $3 tier. That gets you into our Discord server where you can score movies. You can also just hang out with everybody. It's a great place.
It's fun. I enjoy it.
Looking at the reviews for this film, I won't say it was binary black and white. Every female listener loved this movie. Every male listener disliked it. Because there is a healthy mix and plenty in the like 70 to 80 range. But the positive reviews from our female listeners who liked this movie, to me, show so much the importance for representation in especially this super genre of superhero cinema. And I really, really like that this exists. I did see there was some criticism on like what saves her being like falling in love with the first man that she meets. But I think like I hear you there. I don't think every movie needs to be like an Arrow Ace film.
Okay, so let me tell you why I like that. So there's a trope in superhero movies, specifically in comic books, called fridging a character, which is normally woman exists to die to make man strong.
So you like that we're flipping that on its head?
Yes.
Except he doesn't die.
I like that too. He does. Yeah, he does.
But he does.
No, he doesn't.
He
Yeah,
definitely
he does.
dies.
Nope.
He 100%
Comes back in the next movie.
He comes
Not
back in
really,
another
though.
human's body.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Not dead.
He definitely dies.
Not dead.
Well, so he died. Definitely.
Also, if he's going to beat Jesus, he has to come back.
Why is he what?
Because he comes back. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. I have lots of thoughts about Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, so Chris Pine's character in Wonder Woman 1984 is problematic.
There's lots of problems with this character in 1984 because he comes back in somebody else's body who like has a life, presumably.
And they just do stuff to his body.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I feel like that's bad.
And there was no reason for them to do that at all.
No. I have issues with that. I'm like, sure, bring him back because of, like, do I think they should have brought him back? No. I also think that I wanted something that happened, like, in the 30s or 40s because and they also, I have lots of thoughts of Wonder Woman. They messed up that whole storyline.
You mean to tell me the title WW2 wouldn't have worked? There wasn't any historical events that could have matched that?
Absolutely not, of course.
Well,
I do think that they probably shouldn't. I do agree with not doing a World War II movie. There's a lot of them. I think we don't need any more. I'm good with pausing the World War II movies for now. Like, we can pull back on.
All right,
this.
I've got
I
a
think
listener
there
score.
would have been flack from somebody if the Israeli Gal Gadot saved or fought or something related to Jews. There would have been a problem there.
There's already enough of a problem there.
Yeah. But I have no idea what it would be, and I'm not going to provide any commentary on that.
Nope. I've got a listener score.
All right, I'm ready.
There's an 81.9, so an 82.
82. Okay.
Oh.
So reviewing again one more time. Tyler 86, Ethan 59, Rotten Tomatoes 93, Metacritic 77, listeners 82, Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sorry, not Rotten Tomatoes audience. Julia 82. That gives us a 78.65, which is a 79, which puts it between Princess Diaries and Cinderella. Man, we are getting a weird female-led little block here because that's below Easy A. But that puts it in 18th on our big board, 18th of 24.
Okay.
Neat. So, Julia, tell us about your show. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about where to find you.
Sure. So, as mentioned, I host a podcast called Unsobered, Badass Women of History and Literature, where I talk about different women throughout history. So far, it's been all but one has been historical. I did just release the most recent episode that I released was with Isaac Carlson. We talked about Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon. My podcast comes out every other Friday because I do a lot of research for every single one of those podcasts, and it's just too much to do every week. You can find my podcast on all socials at unsoberedpod. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and I guess TikTok on @JuliaGoesTexas. Yeah, that's it.
That's you.
I think. That's me.
Ironical.
Perfect.
Now that you don't live in Texas anymore.
I have a Texas tattoo that counts
I mean, that's
for something,
fair.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were talking about New England earlier, she was like, I can't do that. Whatever you just did, I can't do that.
I like, people here, my maintenance guy at my apartment complex has like a Boston accent, and they talk really fast. I'm just like, I don't understand a word you're saying.
Well, this is Bacon and Eggs. Bacon and Eggs is a proud member of WBNE, which is a podcast network dedicated to just, forging community among podcasters and helping them grow, and forging community with listeners. And we're almost entirely audience driven. So if you like this show or any of the shows on the network, be sure to check out their corresponding Patreon page and go to WBNE.org to check out all the shows that we have. Everything on the website is up to date. That doesn't mean there are things we're not going to add, but it's currently up to date, which I'm very proud of. So thank you for listening to Bacon and Eggs. Ethan, do you want to do the Vaishon, all that stuff?
Well, speaking of WBNE, this show is brought to you by Perspective Z, which is the podcast that we're plugging this week, and here's a trailer for them right now.
Have you ever wondered what Gen Z was thinking while half the generation was eating Tide Pods?
Or what those gosh darn kids are up to these days?
Well, then you should check out our podcast, Perspective Z, hosted by me, Rachel.
And me, Katrina. We discuss pop culture, politics, and everything in between, and give you our perspective as two Gen Z ladies trying to figure out our place in the world.
Listen along to hear our thoughts and opinions as we gear up for college and beyond.
So make sure to check out new episodes of Perspective Z every Monday on the WBNE network at WBNE.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now on Spotify. Toodles!
That's a fascinating show. You know how many podcasts hosted by Gen Z talk about the perspective? Like, how many people in Gen Z have 3 years of podcasting experience?
Very few.
Very few. And they do.
They do. It's so cool. It's so much fun. Go listen to the show. Go hear them talk about everything that you don't know about because you're old.
Yeah. Get your side part in your skinny jeans. And I think that trend has passed. Like, I think we're over that now.
Thank God.
I also do know that there's why do you care what a 16-year-old says? It's like, because I thought
because they're
I was
mean to me
still
about it on the
16.
internet.
Yeah, they're mean. There's nothing scarier than a group of teenagers. Do you remember when we were a group of teenagers and we would walk into the store at the mall and we'd be like, why don't they like us? We're very respectful. And it was because we had $10 in our pocket and we just giggled at everything on the shelf.
And they're across the street like, look at that guy. He has feminine hips.
What?
It's a John Mulaney
John
quote.
Mulaney.
There is nothing scarier than a group of 12-year-olds.
Oh. It's true,
Anyway, this is Bacon and Eggs. Our graphics are by Vaishon Brandon, graphite.vmb on Instagram. Our music is by Andrew Scott Bell, andrewscottbellmusic.com. For more information and more podcasts, go to WBNE.org. And this has been another episode of Bacon and Eggs. I've been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin. She's been Julia Kendall. Until next time, arrivederci.
Ares, the god of war.
This has been a WBNE production. For more great shows, visit WBNE.org.